So hello, we've got a relatively new convert from China, is that right?
No, long-term convert
Long
already.
term,
Yeah.
okay. So a simple topic is, are the Uyghur Muslims persecuted? I've been watching videos initially from the BBC and things like that, which they're basically saying China's the worst place in the world and that everybody's persecuted and the Muslims are particularly persecuted. And I totally believe that, and I was very upset with China. But then I started watching YouTube bloggers like from England and America and also all over the world, and I said like, no, that's not true because we even have restaurants run by Muslim, even Uyghur Muslims, and he's in the same province where they're supposed to be persecuted. And then you've got videos of Muslims celebrating Eid in public, and you've even got the Chinese leader meeting Muslims, but it could be propaganda. But then, how many bloggers could be under the pay of all these of the Chinese government, right? I could be wrong either way, but I kind of get the sense that everybody, there's a strict regime, and I'm not even against strict regime. I've been in a dictatorship, and I was very happy with that dictatorship actually, because there's less infighting between the people, and they just get on with making the country better. But anyway, your thoughts?
Well, I didn't live in the Uyghur side. I lived in Xi'an, which is it's like a very old city for Muslims. There's about 60,000 Muslims there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they are ethnically Chinese Muslims.
Right.
So they are by blood, by language, by history exactly the same as what the common day Han Chinese are like.
Right.
And growing up there, which is in the Muslim culture, yes, you can practice religion. Like, I was one of the rare kids who wore a scarf from a very young age to school. Like, I didn't face anything, but that was my culture.
Yeah.
That was the little area where we live in too.
Yeah.
And yes, there's, by the law, by the constitution, is freedom of religion. However, when it came to, for example, how should I put this? When I went for Quran classes and we had discourse, our teacher disappeared one day. He was like kind of like the sheikh, the leader in the community. He wasn't a leader, but he was really a very progressive Muslim. He was an amazing person. We called him the Fig. He just disappeared one day, and everyone was just not allowed to really talk about it. And it was very confusing because I was 10 years old, and it was somebody just disappeared, and we can't say anything.
So you were 10 years old, so it's hard to know exactly why. I'm just trying to see both sides. So did your parents say that he might have, because I get the sense, and I'm not particularly trying to defend China, but it's like I get the sense that they like to keep a tight control over things. So if you say something that upsets them, they're going to take you away. That's even under Muslim dictatorships. I know in Syria that happened, under Bashar, in Jordan where I lived, that would happen. If you mess around and you say something about the king, you just don't do it anywhere.
So it wasn't, I don't think it was necessarily the saying bad things because everyone kind of does it secretly, but it's more about the gatherings. So public gatherings in China is illegal, whether it be religious or I'm from the South, and when the government said that we're not allowed to use our own language anymore, Cantonese,
Right.
like we can't stream on TV and everyone speaks Cantonese, there was like a protest, but we weren't allowed to gather to do that. That was too dangerous. But then there's also part of Chinese people in general are not that kind, and I don't know if it was thousands of years we weren't like that, or the past 70, 80 years we became like that, we got conditioned into it. So you don't feel the oppression against religion at all in your daily lives. However, yes, you're gonna see Muslim restaurants. It's very normal, like no one's gonna be surprised. But then when you meet someone living there, you meet other Uyghurs, you realize that when they tell you under 18 you're not allowed to go to a mosque, or you cannot, under 18, it's pretty much for under 18 there was more restrictions against how you practice Islam in those regions, and probably in that specific moment. Like, I don't know what it is exactly today.
So if I saw a video of Muslims celebrating Eid out in the public, like in the courtyard, and they're going to there. Is that something that could be faked, or is that illegal? Or
Depends where.
okay,
So
yeah.
because China's so big, and
Yeah,
we
I know.
have
I'm really ignorant of China. Yeah.
cities. Like Xi'an is a old Muslim Han. If you go there, you will think that it is a temple, Chinese Buddhist temple, but no, it's Muslim mosques that are very Chinese style. Been there for the longest time. Like we've been there for a very very long time.
It's possible that they could be celebrating Eid in the open, but as long as it's in the confines and the kind of mosque vicinity or something like that.
You have to remember that when we talk about Muslims, it's not about just being Muslims in China. It's about what's your ethnicity. Han Chinese experience of publicly demonstrating their preference in religion is a very different experience than if you're a minority group and the country wants your land and your oil and your resources. It's not about a religion discourse. Like that's the thing. Like a government will be worried about a group of people who congregate not necessarily because of their religion. It's because if these people want to stand up against us, we don't want that, whether they're Christians or not. And Christians also, there are minority groups that are very religiously Christian that also face prosecution. It is not a Muslim thing at all.
Yeah, I kind of guess that. Like, there's so many strict rules. Like, you can. Is it now China has a three-child policy before it's one child?
It's two-child, and I think it was a few years ago two-child, and now like countries they need children, their aging population, so they're encouraging. Pretty much now, if anyone has babies, they're happy.
Yeah.
So
So basically, my point is, it's so strict in so many ways that, or maybe that's even really unfair.
and you don't feel it. That's the thing. Like I lived in Guangzhou, it's one of the largest cities in the country, 15 million people.
Yeah.
And if you ask a regular Chinese person, like, "Oh, is the government going against us or government's that?" You don't feel it. That's the thing. It's like micro in your life. It's like only when I left China, I'm realizing, okay, that was a bit, that was a bit messed up.
Yeah.
Like, no, but the thing is, you don't.
I shouldn't be laughing at persecution, but just the messed up word.
I know, but it's also so micro, ingrained in your life. You normalize it, you don't realize it. But then these days, there's way more awareness on the internet. Like, for example, any protest, like the Me Too, what was really big in the West, also got to China. We weren't allowed to say Me Too. We say
I'm quite happy about that. I mean,
Right.
Me Too seemed to be a corrupt organization anyway.
yeah, but it's more of like it doesn't. I'm not talking about Me Too per se,
Yeah.
but more of like any form, whether it be religious or any form of public unity towards an idea, could have its risks. And that could even be for something good, like human rights lawyers face problems in China. But it's at this moment, what are they thinking? Are you contradicting? It's so hard to measure. It's not because you're Muslim.
Cool. I'd like to keep things short. I think that's a lot of information that's new for everybody. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.